Ohio. Hello friends, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel. If this is the first time let's do it again. Friends, welcome to another episode of the Urban Homesteading channel with Professor DIY. If this is the first time you're visiting with us, I want to extend to you a very, very warm welcome. If you have subscribed or you have been here before, want to extend you a great appreciation for coming back. Welcome back. If today is your birthday, I want to extend you a very happy birthday. Yoo-hoo! A few weeks back, we built a project that I really like, and it was those simple to build, very beginner project, little pallets that we use as coasters or any other display. So today I wanted to expand on that theme, and I want to show you another very easy beginner project, and that is a display for a candle or something like that. You can leave it loose as I have it, or you can attach it, that is your call. But I'm going to show you every step on how to make this beautiful decorative piece that matches our coasters. As you can see, these two pieces very well complement each other, and when we display them, we can put a candle in here, or we can put anything else we desire. We are going to use very simple pieces of wood, whatever you have around. In this case, I use cedar because I just happen to have cedar. You can use any piece of wood you want, any piece of wood you have laying around, as long as you have enough. So we're going to use a little hot glue, and we're going to actually attach a little stop lock at 4 inches here in our saw. Hot glue is good because it is fairly instant, and once you attach it, it can be detached fairly easily again. Lock stops provide for great consistency, and it is a great tool to use if you're a beginning woodworker, as it will always give you the same length of piece if you want multiple pieces to have the exact same dimension. We're going to cut as many pieces as we can that they're the correct dimension. Again, here we are looking more on consistency versus accuracy. So as you can see, we have our stop there. And we are going to go on and make all our cuts. You can see here how a block stop works beautifully in creating many pieces of this exact length. You don't have to measure and remeasure, which guarantees to make a mistake, by the way. You just have to consistently cut, and you always have the same length of a piece. All you need to be careful with if you're using a saw like I'm showing you here is that it is flush to the back fence. But if it is flush to the back fence and flush to the block stop, you're going to have identical pieces every time, no matter how many pieces you're going to try and cut. So it is important, I think, that you start using block stops. They're going to improve the quality of your products, and they're going to make it more fun in the shop. Will not waste as much material as you might waste now, and overall it will provide a great tool for your arsenal as you improve your woodworking skills. When you're ready to remove your stop, you can very simply tap it and it should come right off. But still it is very strong, and as you notice, it kept very good spot for my pieces. Every piece was consistent, everything was perfect. When you have a small piece, this is the best way to do it. It is the safest way to do it, and as you can see, it leaves absolutely no damage. There is no damage to my saw. And here is my 4 part, and as you can see, there is nothing. So we have our pieces here, and now we are going to do a dry fit. We're going to do a little bit of an assembly and see if that looks the way we envisioned it. A dry fit does not have to be perfect by any means. As you can see here, I kind of sloppily put all the pieces together. I want to make first sure that I have the right amount of pieces to complete the piece, and I also have to get an idea that what I have in my mind translates to the physical dimension. Do not spend too much time on your dry fitting. It will not make a big difference in the end. When I'm assembling it, I will take time to make sure that everything is square and appropriately set. Okay, I think that's a decent height. That will do well for what we want. So the next step now will be to glue and brad nail it. And now let us start our assembly. I'm going to put little dabs of glue in the areas we're going to make our connections. And then the key here is to try and be as square as you can. At this stage, take your time. You must be able to have everything square and everything looking good, because especially if you use a brad nailer, there are not going to be do-overs. So take your time, make sure it is correctly done, and do not worry about how long it takes. The glue is not as fast as to mess you up, but it is fairly quick, and once you set it correctly, it's not going to move unless you put a lot of pressure on it. So during this same process, slowly but steadily, you're going to build this frame. It is not a requirement to brad nail this piece. I'm doing it for sake of expediency and to finish the video. However, glue is pretty strong for this project. All you have to do is let it dry overnight and it will be no problem at all. So if you don't have a brad nailer, do not sweat it. And here is the product. With this assembly completed, we're going to move on to create the base and the top. I have not decided if we're going to do a top yet, but we're going to for sure create the base. So now we're going to cut some bevels. I actually prefer the table saw to cut bevels than any other saw. To me, it does the best job, it feels the most stable, and it feels the safest to me. However, you can do it with a hand saw, I just don't have the patience for it. If you don't have a table saw, a hand saw can do it, but it will take you a lot of time, and of course a bevel saw will do it, but it will take a lot of time. It is not necessarily have a lot of expensive equipment to do woodworking. Well, I think I would like a little more bevel, so I'm going to move my fence here just a tad and run it over again. Cutting bevels gives more interest, visual interest to the piece, and demonstrates that your woodworking skills are evolving. You don't just make everything 90 degrees. Again, cutting bevels in 45 degrees is a very, very useful skill that will be used in many projects. If you're comfortable doing it, do it. Again, never as a beginner woodworker do anything you do not feel comfortable doing. Here, I'm aware that we have a lot of small pieces, and in case of kickback, I did not want to be in front of the blade, so I've moved to the side of the blade to do this a little safer. And this was not a bad idea, even though we didn't have any serious kickback. You're going to see in a moment that there was an issue. I realized that my blade was not high enough, so I did not continue the cut. I raised the blade and put it in the correct height for me to go through the wood. And here we are. I don't know, you're going to probably see it or not, but the piece here is going to be caught by the blade. Did you see how fast it happened? And it can hit you. This was a small piece, it would not really do a lot of damage, but it would be sufficient damage that would make you feel it for a day or two. That was a great example of why, if you can, be on the side of the saw. I don't know if the perspective here makes it clear, but I'm on the side of the saw. I'm not right behind the saw like we normally are, where the saw, like you can see here, I moved a little more because now I'm not as concerned about kickback. The pieces are much smaller, and even if something was to hit me, it wouldn't really be an injury that I would sustain. And here is our piece. Again, this is a drawing fit. I haven't connected anything yet, but you can see how it works. Nice little bevels here, and you can finish it any way you would like, of course. I like my bevels to be different front and back, as you can see. So I have two different bevels with a softer bevel here and a deeper bevel here. If you want your bevels to be the same all around, you need to cut your piece first into a square, whatever dimension you decide it to be, and then use the bevels. Again, I like to have different bevel sides in front to back, and that's why I did it this way. But as you can see, this is a very simple project. You can use very little material. I only use my scraps here, and you can have a nice, easy decorating piece. You can experiment with different embellishment and designs, and of course you can add a simple finial on it, and you can play with shapes that you like. I'm not sure I like this, so I might not add it until the boss arrives and gives approval, because I'm not sure what exactly she would like to do with this. But in any case, now I'm just having it there to see what it looks. I tried this first, but this was definitely too big, maybe a shorter one. But you can try and see if you find something that you like to be on top. That might even make it easier to remove the top to put in a candle or anything you might want. As you can see, these two pieces very well complement each other, and when we display them, we can put a candle in here, or we can put anything else we desire. We are going to use very simple pieces of wood, whatever you have around. In this case, I use cedar because I just happen to have cedar. You can use any piece of wood you want, any piece of wood you have laying around, as long as you have enough. You will need 16 4-inch pieces in order to build this simple design, and 2 pieces of scrap that you can take a base and a top. And again, if you don't want a base, you don't have to have a base. And looking at this, I probably want to make a little bit of change. So I don't like the gap here. So I will see if I can actually bridge it with some scraps, so it will look more finished if you choose not to put a top on. If you want to put the top on, then this step is not necessary. Again, in the spirit of not measuring, I'm going to use my pencil here and make a mark to cut my piece. And you can cut this piece with anything. A bandsaw, a handsaw, really a jigsaw, whatever you have available. This is a very easy thing to do. And here I am with my 2 pieces. And as you can see, that presents a much more finished look if you do not want a top on. So I think we're going to go with that. And maybe I'm just thinking now, I might put them on the bottom of my roof, so that will always register and be center when I need to take it on and off. So here is the question: finial or not finial? Again, I'm trying to decide. I like some. I've been trying a lot of different things, and I like some, I don't like others. Ultimately, it's a matter of taste, and if you build for someone else, you should ask them what they would like. So friends, this is our episode for today. If you like it, we'll appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the other button twice. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know what else you might want to watch in future episodes of the Urban Homesteading Channel. From Professor DIY and the Urban Homesteading Channel, stay safe, friends.